Hey guys, it's Paradise, and this brand new game reveal is looking extremely intriguing, so you won't want to miss out on this one. With interesting and sneaky mechanics, no two matches being the same, solid looking progression with fun gadgets, and the goal of stealing loot during elaborate heists, but also from other players, Thick as Thieves is on our radar. As big fans of this type of game, when Megabit Publishing asked us for a sponsored video to talk about it, it was a great match, and there will be a link down below if you want to learn more. So what exactly is Thick as Thieves? Well, luckily we got to attend a presentation to check out the game in a bit more detail, and honestly it's looking really cool. Think of this as a stealth action game with immersive sim qualities and with a multiplayer twist. You play as one of several thief archetypes, with different available gadgets to go out on a variety of missions to steal precious treasure and loot from wealthy estates, all while competing with up to 3 other player thieves who are also trying to get that treasure. Essentially think of it as a thief versus thief game, with a big emphasis on this being a mixture of the exciting and fun parts of stealth games with less of the slow downtime. This kind of twist does make it quite appealing to us to get straight into the action and fun. It's also set in an alternative history metropolis with inspiration from old northern UK cities, with a touch of early technology like steam power, neon lights, and even some magic, but in a subtle way, such as being able to use things like a fairy in a jar to pickpocket a key from a guard for you. The game is being made by Otherside Entertainment and Warren Spector as CCO, who is one of the creators of Deus Ex and Thief, lending a lot of excitement to this as Warren has created some really awesome games in the past. As with his signature immersive style sim games, Thick as Thieves is all about player choice and how you want to tackle the objectives of stealing these valuable items to sell and grow your thief's arsenal. In various gameplay examples that we got to check out in the presentation, there was a bunch of different ways to traverse the maps and enter different buildings and areas. This means with multiple players stealthily trying to get inside of an objective area to steal the loot there will be some crazy shenanigans to encounter. It is a stealth game about stealing, but what's interesting to us is that there's also a form of PvP, as it is a PvPvE game. You can use various tools and gadgets like knockout gas to incapacitate players and steal the loot that they've gained, or you could sneak up behind an unsuspecting thief and knock them out. So it really is all about planning how you want to tackle the objective and then executing on it as efficiently and quickly as possible. There will be different missions, factions and groups, criminal organizations to align with or against, and your character is set to be a sort of shade of grey in the world where you choose how you want to play. In the presentation we got to see, Warren Spector spoke about his inspiration for the game, which did really appeal to me as a D&D fan. He said it aims to recapture that feeling of playing Dungeons & Dragons with other people for the first time. And in respect to that, he was meaning the funny encounters that you get with other players when playing D&D. Incorporating this into an action stealth thief game is really interesting and can create some very fun scenarios when 2 thieves or more meet in a match. On top of this, it means each run of a mission will play out very differently, opening up a lot of different strategies and playstyles. It isn't just other players that you have to watch out for, as there is sophisticated NPCs with dynamic and systemic responses to how players interact with them during missions. They call it a living world, and by this they mean the guards, enemies, and patrolling watchmen will be responsive to how players interact around them. They said the possibility space of what can happen in a mission is really big depending on how players tackle the objective. And speaking of how you want to play, there are different archetypes that you can play as, which will affect your tools and gadgets to use while stealing that juicy loot. Each archetype has signature tools that are unique to them, giving them their core playstyle, but there's also a catalogue of customizable tools as well. The first we've seen is the Hood, making use of a club and appears to be more focused on a direct approach to stealth with takedowns and knockouts. Then we've seen the Spider, who utilizes a grapple hook gadget to sneak around rooftops and ceiling beams, allowing for different ways to tackle the levels. Finally is the Chameleon, who seems more focused on not being spotted with things like smoke grenades and distraction gadgets. But there are even more gadgets than just that, with things like the bolas to trip other players and slow them down, darts with a variety of ammo types, knockout gas, traps, magic totems to recover from knockouts, bottled fairies to pickpocket items easily, and more. These gadgets will upgrade and you'll get new ones to unlock as you grow your thief with the treasure that you loot in matches. This is at least as long as you get it out of the match and other players don't steal it from you. There will be different difficulties of missions to choose as well, so you can learn the ropes and understand the gadgets in easier modes, which will give less valuable loot, while harder modes will give much better treasure to steal and sell. A very cool thing we got to see in the gameplay presentation was a player setting a trap with knockout gas in a popular choke point on the map. Once an unfortunate thief walked into the trap without noticing, he snatched their loot, ran across the map to stash it in a deposit box, freeing up their inventory space to let them get even more treasure in the current game and secure those goodies. But a good player will be able to completely avoid other players and remain stealthy. There's also the AI guards and watchmen patrolling around the map, and they're very strong if confronted directly, but they can be avoided, taken out from stealth, or used as a distraction against other players with the right tools and plays. So both from the traversal to the playstyles, there's a lot of different ways to tackle the objectives of stealing the treasure. We actually got to see at the end of a match there's different values depending on what you manage to steal, with major objectives being worth much more than lesser treasure. So going for that more valuable loot is worth your time, but of course comes with the risk of encountering other players who are also seeking it. More loot is always better, but maybe it's worth going for that high value item so long as the other thieves aren't going to get you. One of the things I love to see with more and more multiplayer games is the addition of crossplay, and that is supported here, with it launching on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC, with a current launch window of 2026. So it is a little while away, but hopefully this gives them plenty of time to cook, because the concept and the gameplay that I saw did look like a very cool take on the stealth genre with an action and multiplayer twist. We'll have a link down below for you if you want to learn more about Thick as Thieves, and we really appreciate you watching, so drop a like below and tell us what you think in the comments. Here at Arekkz Gaming, we're two friends who love to play games. You have me, Paradise, as well as 26.
Our goal is to keep the videos as concise as possible by cutting out any of the fluff and focusing on what really matters with high quality videos.
So make sure you're subscribed down below for more videos on your favorite games coming very, very soon.